What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $1,400 third stimulus check update and third stimulus package update. Today was actually a very good day in the stimulus world as we had several things come through. Number one, they passed a procedural vote in the Senate, and it exactly happened what we thought would happen. And this is a good sign for the actual finish line. I'm going to give you the details of that, as well as the potential delays and who's causing them, and when to really kind of expect the money in your account and the actual passing and the president signing it and all those good details. I'm going to give you all the details of it in this video, as well as the fight. They're literally fighting for not literally, but pretty much fighting on the Senate floor. The Democrats and Republicans are just completely at each other's throats. So 2021, right? If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below, hit the like button, and let's jump right in. First up is Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who's got a big attitude today. He's not happy.
As the Senate prepares to take up the American Rescue Plan today, I want to remind everyone why we're here. This country is in the midst of a once-in-a-century crisis. Not once in a decade, not once in every 50 years, once in a century. It's a crisis that is still very much with us, and it is deadly, deadly serious. It has claimed more than 515,000 precious lives across every part of the nation. For the better part of the calendar year, businesses have had to close their doors. Entire industries teetered on the brink of collapse. The economy has lost 10 million jobs since this time last year. Millions of Americans are thousands of dollars behind on the rent and on the utilities. Folks are facing eviction. American families have had their water shut off, their heat shut off in the depth of winter, and the power cut during their kids' first days of virtual kindergarten. Even as the vaccine is quickly making its way into Americans' arms now that President Biden has taken the helm, tens of thousands of Americans continue to get sick every week, and we are racing against the clock to defeat the pandemic and to save American lives. Now, Congress has come together on several occasions to pass emergency relief in this time of extraordinary crisis. In each case, we saw our economy recover briefly before worrying trends took hold again, showing the depth of the economic crisis. It's not going to be quick and easy to get out of. After the CARES bill passed, our economy stabilized before dipping deeply again in the summer. After we passed another emergency bill in December, the January numbers looked positive before once again slipping in recent weeks. Trusted economists, Treasury Secretary Yellen, Federal Chair Powell, both cautious, careful people, are telling us plain as day that the economy is not yet ready to stand on its own, that our recovery is deeply uncertain, that the risk of doing little is far greater than doing too much. We also arrived at this moment about to take up the American Rescue Plan because we remember what happened the last time our country faced a significant economic downturn. Congress was too limited and constrained in its response to the financial crisis in 2008 and 2009. And as a result, the country suffered a long, slow, painful recovery, a lost decade for many American families, creating anger, pessimism, a sourness in the land that discombobulated our politics. We are not going to make those same mistakes again. We are not going to condemn millions of working Americans to another lost decade of tepid recovery. We are not going to abdicate our responsibility to help the American people just because we've started to see the first hint that things aren't as bad as during the very worst days of the pandemic. Our mission is to crush the virus now, get our country back to normal, lay the foundation for our economy to come roaring back, roaring back. That's what the American Rescue Plan is designed to do. And the entire country has gotten behind it. Hundreds of the nation's top business leaders support the plan. More than 400 mayors and local leaders from both parties, Democrat and Republican, support the plan. The American people support the plan, including a clear majority of Democrats, independents, Republicans. It seems the only group that opposes the bill are Republicans here in Washington. And it's confounding. When Donald Trump was president, they were willing to vote for a total of over $3 trillion in aid. Now that President Biden is president and the economy is in the same pickle, generally speaking, they don't want to vote for a nickel. I wonder why. I wonder why.
So Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer throws a curveball at Republicans and saying, well, you passed all these stimulus packages when President Donald Trump was the president, and now all of a sudden Biden's in office and you don't want to pass any more at all. I understand his point. I do. I mean, they passed 5 packages under Trump in less than a year, and now all of a sudden they don't want to pass any packages. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Maybe it's they don't want to pass packages because it's not a Republican president anymore. Maybe not. Maybe they disagree, but I don't know. I mean, you can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. With that being said, we had a very good step forward today in the process. They had a procedural vote in the Senate to proceed on with the bill to basically to the next stage of the bill, the debate stage, which they're doing right now, as well as reading the vote or reading the bill, and or they're done with the bill that Senator Ron Johnson made them read the bill. We'll get to details on that here in a second. But Kamala Harris broke the tie. Exactly what we need to happen happened in this procedural vote. And that is all 50 Democrats voted yes on the bill, all 50 Republicans voted no on the bill, and the Vice President Kamala Harris passed the bill with the reconciliation process, which is a great, great thing because it shows us that all the Democrats voted together and they can pass this bill right now. And that is exactly what needs to happen. So that's very good news. All the Democrats stuck together. And again, it's not that I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican or I'm rooting for one side or the other. What I'm rooting for is for more money for the people. I mean, I read your guys' comments every single day. I see how in need of money the American people is, our economy is. I agree with a lot of economists that you need to spend money now and not have years and years and years of a recession as we've seen in the past. So I see your guys' cries. I see your guys' comments. So I'm on the side of getting stimulus passed. And if that happens to be Republican or Democrat or whatever it was, I mean, just a month or two ago when the Senate was Republican and the president was Republican, it was a different story. So things have kind of changed here over the last month or so. It is what it is. Let's just get this stimulus passed. Let's get this money out to the people. The good news is that all the Democrats, which are the people who are passing the bill right now, whether you like them or not, they're the ones giving you the checks and the mortgage assistance, the rental assistance, the $3,000 to $3,600 child stimulus checks. All the money in the package is coming from the Democrats at this point. Not a single Republican voted yes in the House, and not a single Republican voted no or voted yes in the Senate up until this point. Very different than where we were 2 months ago when we did pass those 5 packages in the for last year, and basically those were bipartisan support. We had a Republican Senate, and they were able to get these bills done, and we had a Democratic House, and they were able to get the bills done. But now all of a sudden, Republicans, literally not a single one of them wants to vote yes on this next package. I don't know. You can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. It's not that I'm Democrat, because literally 2 months ago, I was still here rooting for the stimulus packages, and we had a Republican president and a Republican Senate. But nonetheless, today in the Senate, they voted to pass the procedure on to the next stage, which is the debate stage. And all 50 Democrats said yes, all 50 Republicans said no, and the Democrats stuck together, and Vice President Kamala Harris passed that procedure to move the bill on to the next stage, which is a very good sign because it means that the Democrats are sticking together. Joe Manchin voted yes for it. Kirsten Sinema voted yes for it. So it looks like they're going to be able to pass this thing. However, one of the very big changes that did happen today is they did remove the $15 an hour minimum wage from the bill. I don't know if that's what tipped the scale to get the Democratic Senator Joe Manchin to say yes to this bill. As you can see here, for the vote of 50 to 51, they cleared that vote today. But they did remove the $15 an hour minimum wage. It is no longer in the bill at this moment. Now, because of the new income guidelines that we've kind of gone over here that just basically came up in the last 24 hours, $75,000 up to for an individual filer, but it now completely cuts off at 80,000, double that for a couple, so 150 and under gets the full checks, and 160 and over gets the full stimulus checks, or after 160, no more stimulus checks. It does look like they won't be losing very many votes from what's called progressive Democrats that are unhappy that they have changed the income limits from what President Donald Trump had, and President Biden will not be able to send the same income limits, basically cutting out about 15 million people from those income limits for the stimulus checks. A lot of Democrats think that that's unfair that former President Donald Trump got to send stimulus checks to people that basically made up to $100,000 for a single filer or $200,000 for an individual, but yet President Biden is only going to get to send up to $80,000 for an individual and 160 for a couple. You know, Democrats versus Republicans. I don't know what to tell you. Unfortunately, I'm not the one making the bill, but if I could, I would have already passed it. But all I can do is report to you guys the latest details. Speaking of latest details, here's one that's not so good. As you can see here on this headline, Republican Senator Ron Johnson grinds the Senate to a halt, irritating many. Now, Republican Senator Ron Johnson was very infamous for his previous antics where he actually prevented people from getting a $1,200 stimulus check. This is back when Republican Senator Josh Hawley and Democratic/Independent Senator Bernie Sanders were making motions to include a $1,200 stimulus check in the second stimulus check bill. This is when there was no check at all in there. We know eventually we ended up getting $600 because they took the money away from the states and cities and gave it to you guys. Before that, we had a motion from Bernie Sanders, Democrat, and Republican Senator Josh Hawley teaming together. They made motions on the Senate floor to do an up-down vote, and the only person to object was Ron Johnson, Republican Senator, for Wisconsin. And apparently he's trying to delay this bill in addition to what he's done in the past. He was the only person to kind of stand up and say, I object to the motion that there's a formality that basically happens with every bill that they can read it on the floor, but they never do it. They rarely do it. He made them read it. I can understand the point of view there because maybe, he wants to bring light to all the other things that are in the bill. Okay, I get that. I can understand that. All right, no big deal. We got that one. There's a little bit of a debacle. But now there's kind of more. As you can see here, Senator Ron Johnson, a Republican from Wisconsin, is grinding the gears of the Senate to a halt as it seeks to move forward with the third stimulus check package bill. It is just the latest step by Johnson, who is up for re-election in a state narrowly won by Biden, to burnish his Trump credentials, whether that's repeating unfounded theories about the January 6th attack or becoming the face of Republican opposition to the third stimulus check package bill that is broadly popular among Republican voters, not Republican senators. Johnson has taken a two-pronged approach to his hardball tactics. First, he's forcing the Senate clerks to read the entire piece of legislation, a delaying tactic that irritated Democrats and even some Republicans. Then he wants Republicans to sign up for shifts so that they could potentially force hundreds of amendment votes to the third stimulus package. Johnson's delaying tactics won't sink the bill, and some colleagues have even been puzzled over what his endgame is. Quote, I'm less enthused by the point being made because I'm not sure it really makes a point. It doesn't punish anybody except members of the staff and pretty much all 100 senators, said Republican Senator Kevin Kramer from North Dakota. He added that Johnson had the right to force the bill to be read, but says, I fail to see the strategic value. Even Republican Senator Lindsey Graham added, I don't think it particularly moves the ball forward. So now, in addition to this, apparently he's going to try to have Republicans show up in shifts to force amendment votes, which I already know what will happen because this happened in the previous stages of voting and in the House, is that Republicans are going to try to do all sorts of amendments and Democrats are just going to vote them down. I don't know if it's because Democrats are just, they have the power or they don't want to slow things down anymore, because any amendments at this point will slow things down even more. So they're just going to literally vote down every single amendment. That will be the fastest way to get this bill passed. So whether the amendments are good, bad, or completely just erroneous or the greatest amendment ever, they're going to most likely vote down every amendment because they really just slow the thing down at this point. Then they would have to re-amend the bill and rewrite the bill and all that stuff. Okay, so Democrats are really just going to vote every amendment down, and Ron Johnson probably pretty much knows this because this is already what is happening. So now he's saying that he's going to have Republicans show up and shift Republican senators, or at least as much as possible, and have as many amendments brought to the floor as possible so that they can just be voted down and just waste everybody's time. Yeah, I can't make this stuff up. It's not that I'm picking sides here. I'm just bringing you guys the truth of what's happening. Whatever. I don't even think there should be a side. There should be no sides here. I mean, there were no sides for the last 5 packages. I don't know why they're picking sides now. But regardless, they're very close. They moved on to the next portion of the bill. They did pass the procedural vote to move on to the next portion of the bill, where we can see the final bill possibly as early as tomorrow, or if you're watching this in the morning, as early as today. So regardless, we're very close. The $1,400 checks are in there. The $3,000 to $3,600 child stimulus checks are in there. There's mortgage assistance, rental assistance, property tax assistance, utility assistance. There's assistance for SNAP, WIC, and EBT, an increase in that. Unemployment assistance, which is currently at $400 per week still. So they have not lowered that at this point. The minimum wage is out of the bill. So we'll have to see what happens with that after they pass this bill. So I will keep you updated. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. It's completely free to do so. Share this video with your family and friends so that they know what's going on. New videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After you subscribe, click the bell icon to get notifications so you get a reminder. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income selling products on Amazon, and me and my wife sell products on Amazon, and we teach people how to do that. So click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.